The role of the feminine. Not like me to show up early to a live. I had an interview with a couple who have changed the time a little bit. So that's why I'm early now, because they had the 6 o'clock slot and they've gone to 7 o'clock. So I'm a little bit early. So the role of the feminine. And we had a few weeks ago, we had a live called The Role of the Masculine. So why do I call them feminine and not divine feminine? Because in the beginning, you're not divine. Okay. In the beginning, you are toxic, distorted, wounded, unhealed. And you might think, oh, Manny, no, we're not. But we are, because we are obsessive, we are controlling, we're in fear, we're in lack, we're not in our divine energy and our template, we're not in our goddess energy, we're in an energy of control and fear and ego, right? And we want to wrestle everything down to the ground. And that's okay, because in the beginning, once you get activated on the twin flame journey, all your fears, your pain body gets activated, and therefore you are in a place of obsession and control and fear and addiction. And your DM is doing the same, but outside to others or other things. So how do you get from that distorted feminine to that divine feminine? Now, it's a journey. It's a journey, but it's a journey which you have to do a lot of work. It doesn't happen just by sitting down and doing nothing. Obsessing, focusing on unicorns and rainbows and flowers and chocolates and spa days with your DM doesn't work like that. Unless you do the deep work, unless you heal the core wounding and the core issues, it will continue. The issues continue. Unless you bring your power back, your energy back, your DM will carry on acting toxic and crazy. And I know it's easier said than done. It is easier said than done to say, I know people used to always say to me, surrender, let go, focus on yourself, Manny. And I'm like, how the hell do I do that? Because when you're in that fear, obsessive energy, you are absolutely crazy, right? And you cannot, it feels, bring your energy back. It's a process, step-by-step process of loving your inner child, loving yourself, and bringing the attention back. I know in the beginning, I felt like after I met my DM, when I came back to the UK, I felt like half of my body, the masculine side, died. And I was in a state of total panic and obsession and craziness. Crazy. Lost my job. I had my knees and elbow issue. We'll talk about some pain issues right now as well. But I never had issues with my body before. Now, if you think about it, knees and elbow, what's it to do? When you bow down to God, when you kneel down, when your ego is in humbleness and humility, you bow down. So if you're unable to bow down and you have knee problems, elbow problems, it's an ego problem, okay? So I had an ego problem. I couldn't get up. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything, let alone, people would say to me, Manny, you need to work out. You need to take care of yourself. I couldn't even get out of bed, okay? I was in and out of hospital. It was terrible. I was still making videos though. So in that sense, how do you go from toxic feminine to divine feminine? A lot of work, a lot of inner work. Building a deep connection with God, a relationship with God where you put God in front of everything. And it doesn't happen straight away. I mean, some people also get confused. Am I the divine feminine? Am I the masculine? Now, if you are the spiritual twin, or if you are the one that figures out and realizes first, if you're the one who's chasing, if you're the one who's obsessive, if you're the one who is going through all the dark nights and the issues first, you're the feminine, okay? It's not very confusing. If you're confused, you're probably not a twin flame, because it's kind of quite obvious the way it works. I mean, the polarity can change of chasing and running. It can. But the whatever you are, whether you're feminine or masculine, you are going to be that specific polarity for life. You cannot change. You can't go from feminine to masculine and all this and that and the other. No. And initially it was hard for me to hear, I'm a man. Why am I the feminine? I don't even like the terms because they are very gendered and sex oriented. I prefer yin and yang. That's a better one. The one that's more spiritual and the one that's more matrix, maybe. Upper chakras, lower chakras. It's a bit different, But the term feminine, masculine, it messes up the concept, okay? Because you kind of assume all these things. Now, toxic feminines are those, not only the ones that are aggressive and violent and controlling. and fearful, but submissive, disempowered, lazy, focused on the la-la land of romance, not doing the inner work. That's also a toxic feminine. And your DM does not want to be around that. No one wants to be around a lazy, distorted, controlling person, do they? They don't. Not if you want to have union, it repels. So initially, you will be, when you're activated, whether your Kundalini is activated or not initially, you will be in your toxicity, deep toxicity. You'll be very wounded. You will feel very abandoned and rejected. You'll feel very alone and isolated. You will. And that's okay, because you have to work with your inner child and build a relationship of trust with the inner child to give all the things, reparent yourself from all that you weren't given. And you cultivate a strong relationship with God, because you're going to have at times so many down moments that you will have suicidal tendencies maybe. And the only thing that will get you through is holding on to the feet of God, closing your eyes, bringing God into your heart space and holding on and praying like no tomorrow. Because some of your DMs, like mine, were very toxic. Some of them are not. But the first thing on the journey actually is not union, it's not divine masculine, it's you. It's your wounding, your ancestral stuff, your karmic stuff. It's your societal templates. It's you as your inner child. It's you first. Number one is you. And then number two is not divine masculine. Number two is then healing your lineage. It's your family, it's your parents, it's your society, those around you, your relatives. And then the divine masculine comes, because it's just a mirror, okay? And we'll talk about how they heal as well, because they don't need to do the healing the way you do. As you up level, you're the conscious twin. As you ascend, they get their downloads and automatically they're done. Automatically they change. And if your DM's not changing yet, maybe you're still focusing on them. Maybe you've still got deeper to go. I used to have someone I worked with, and she would always say to me, you need to go deeper, you need to go deeper. And I was like, how bloody deep do I need to go? Because it's never ending, the toxicity I'm seeing. But there comes a point when you stop just waiting around and sitting at home, and you go out, you see the world, you do your things, you help people, you live your life. You start seeing there's more to life than just fixating and focusing on the masculine. There's a tipping point. And at the same time you're doing that work, inner work, they're releasing all their stuff as well, their toxicity, they're doing it. There comes a point where there's nothing left else. And then they go within. And I made videos in the beginning, if you remember. The first year of my content was about the twin flame journey, and this is about ascension now. But I talked about eventually the DM becomes a hermit. Yeah, I said in the beginning, the DF is the hermit. She's working on herself, and the DM's outside doing all the craziness. Loads of people, you know, he has loads of like followers and sheep or whatever. But there comes a point where there's a switch, because the DF has ascended, and then you have to teach your knowledge to the world, your family, other people. We'll talk about body pain, yeah, and all the other things that you've learned. You're going to be healing your family and lineage and people, and then your DM is going to basically go within, become silent on social media in life, and just go within, become a hermit, and start working on his stuff, which is great. So I did a post, and I've done posts before where I've said, let him go, give him to God. And it's challenging. It's challenging because you're controlling in your toxicity and your fear, because you don't trust. Now, if you've done plant medicine, you will know, and some of you are newer followers, so you can go back to about September when I talk about plant medicine, and then I do it myself. You'll see once you do it, your twin flame's always there. When you die, they're always there. They're always there. From the beginning you were created. If you have the ability to see past lives, I do, you'll see when you were created from God and how you're always together. From lifetimes. On earth, you're on a mission. We come as 2 by 2. I've talked about this. And some of you take bigger loads, bigger issues, bigger missions. Some of you have smaller missions. It's fine. And then basically you decide that, you know, we're going to help ascend humanity, and we're going to do this and that and the other. So you're basically sacrificing yourself for the mission, kind of. And you're taking on big things in order to heal them. So I talked about the fact that me and my twin, we're taking on sexual distortions. Coming as gay, coming as, you know, stuff. We're working on pornography, homosexuality, pedophilia, and sexual abuse. That's a lot of the stuff, right? As big things. But you basically come to sacrifice yourself for humanity. When I did plant medicine, so not only is your twin flame always with you, when you die, they come and collect you, they're always with you. So that romance and that love is always there. That's why, when people say stuff like, oh, you're already in union, you're like, what the fuck? Like, no. Because in the 3D, it seems like you're not. But when you die, they are always there. When you do plant medicine, they're always there. The love is always there. It's just the distortions that you're healing. So you kind of are, in my plant medicine, my twin flame sacrificed himself. He crucified himself for humanity's sins, his ancestral stuff, and also the thing he's done against me. So in that way, you are giving yourself and your twin for humanity. And it's okay. It's all right. So the role as the divine feminine. First of all, it's coming from toxic feminine to divine feminine by doing the inner work, loving yourself, the shadow work, working with the inner child, having a good relationship with God. But you're also the divine mother, divine sister, and divine wife. And that's kind of like concepts that you might find challenging, especially if you're not in a female body. Like, what the hell? How do I be a divine mother? But a divine mother, think of it as like a mother with a child, okay? So you've got a naughty child. Because a lot of the masculines, often, they're like little boys or little children, okay? Any masculine, your father, relatives, your twin flame, and they're not as evolved usually and connected, and they're more in ego. So that divine mother that has a naughty child in the playground who's being silly, maybe he's picking on people or being naughty. She always consoles in a divine way, in a loving way, and she might say, we don't do that, this way. And she also will appraise the good behavior and maybe not focus on the bad behavior. So it's very important to kind of stay in that place. But a divine mother sometimes has to say things and blast, like I say, but we'll talk about when you should do it, when you should not do it. It's, some people say the divine feminine journey is harder for the feminines because we are awakened first and we have to seal the madness and deal with it, and we're waiting almost. But some say for the divine masculines it's harder because they are unconscious and they have to anchor the union in 3D, and they have to do it very fast as well. They're taking a lot of density, transmuting it, the dark, dense stuff in the 3D, and they get attacked a lot because they're more of the physical twin, right? The matrix twin, by the dark forces and the energies. So they have to anchor that strong union energy on Earth, and it's a lot in a short time. So going back, the twin flame journey for the divine feminine is initially healing yourself, and then healing your family origins, your ancestry. Okay, you're going to be mastering the skill as a craftsman or a craftswoman of healing your lineage. How do you do that? So I've talked about in the past about, before doing lives, I've been having a lot of issues this last month or so, 2 months since the retrogrades and all the planetary stuff going on. We're having revisitations in childhood issues with family. The DMs are also going through that, and we're being called to heal that. And also that's causing a lot of body problems and densities because there's a lot of light coming, a lot of vibrational, high vibrational stuff coming in, and anywhere in the body where we have stuck energy. So in the beginning, I had knee issues, I told you, with the elbow, which is the ego. And then last summer, I had lower back issues. Now I have had for the last couple of weeks, it's my left side, which is the feminine side, thigh, which is to do with father, and then the buttocks, it's to do with all that dense energy from childhood. And that has been really terrible. But in order to counteract that, it's very important that we identify it. Because a lot of 3D people, they just say it's aches and pains. But it's that density being released. So drinking warm water, smoothies, light food, and taking care of ourselves, but still exercising lightly. I've had to reduce a little bit of my weight training, not doing lower body. Doing a bit of exercise and stretching is very important in order to get that. So how do we heal? Once we've done our inner work with our inner child, and we've loved ourselves and we're glowing, and you'll notice, in the beginning, you'll get a lot of attention from men, or masculine energy, rather than men. And in the beginning, you'll kind of want it because you're lacking third eye insight and you want validation. But you get it to a point where your third eye opens and you can see the toxicity and the trauma in others, so you're not attracted to it no more. And then you'll notice that you're not interested in men, but they're still interested in you, but not in a necessarily sexual way. That too. But it will be that they want to serve you. You become a queen bee. So at the party I went to last week that I posted pictures of, people in the past, the masculines who had been very offensive to me, I had threats to my life for being gay, okay? They were this time round, I couldn't believe it, running around after me. Manny, do you need this? Do you want this? Do you want some food? Do you want some drink? So you become queen bee. You become the divine mother. You become a goddess or whatever in their eyes. And it doesn't matter what body you're in. I'm in a male body. They want to serve you. They become the worker bees. That's when you know you're actually ascending in your vibration, because the men, the masculines, they want to serve you. Okay? And that same thing happens with the DM. They initially are very anxious and scared by your energy and your light and your power. But as you ascend and ascend, they're very attracted and they want to go for it, and they want to come and protect you. They don't want anyone else near you. But they're also going to be devoted to you, and they're going to be serving you. But you hold very strong power. You are very full of light, and you're ascended. And with that power comes responsibility. You are the leader in the twin flame journey, in the connection, which is a good thing. Because as you ascend, as you heal blocks, you'll see the DM automatically changing eventually. They don't show it in the beginning, but they do. They change. They change from being a devil to a saint. It's a miraculous journey. So when you're a divine mother, I talked about being that beautiful mothering energy in the playground with the child. If they're naughty, you console them. But also as a teacher, imagine a loving teacher and a child's being naughty. The child might think, oh, she's going to shout at me. But no, she says, that's not the way. We're going to do it this way. And you console them in a kind way. Now, sometimes the feminines get into a bit of a rattle with this. They think, oh, but if I just be nice all the time to the masculine, then he's going to walk all over me. But no, because you're doing it from a place of healing yourself, and you're working with your inner child, and you're doing it with them too. But sometimes you have boundaries as well. But as you heal, they heal. So they won't walk all over you, because you're doing it from a compassionate place, okay? But at times you will withdraw your energy if they're acting bad. And that's not just the DM, that's also any other masculines. You learn, people are always going to be watching you as you ascend. They'll be focused on what you put attention to, what your words are. And they will also focus where you will not say anything. Sometimes your silence is the most beautiful thing, or you raise an eyebrow, or you turn away, you turn the other way, other cheek. So your behavior is the way in which people are going to be reacting, especially masculine energies. They're going to be running around after you like a worker bee, wanting attention, like a child. Like a child, they're going to want to have praise, or when they're doing bad, you keep your mouth shut. So sometimes you might have to blast, okay? And what is blasting is when you have the voice of God, like almost like a dragon. The energy comes from above, and you just break the ego, like of your father or of other people. And when you do that, it's when nothing can stop you. It comes from God, and nothing and no one will stop you. It's not from ego. You do it to blast out their ego, and you do it from a place of total love, actually. And it comes from God. You say the right words, the right actions, and everything is done in the most perfect way in order to take out the ego of that person. Yeah? Now, going back to your parents, for your parents to be able to birth a twin flame, it's a huge thing, okay? Now, when I have done inner work, I've seen my father in the non-physical and as an ascended master, and someone who's very highly evolved. But in the 3D, there are toxicity because of the karma. So from a non-physical perspective, the parents of twin flames are very highly evolved ascended beings who choose to give birth. They choose to give you the right environment, the right fuel to blast you to the stars. Now, the fuel is often toxic. The fuel is often what is needed to create the conditions to break your ego and to get you out of your karma. It's perfectly designed and matched. And then once you do it, because you have the ability to do it, they do not. You help them. And they may not fully ascend on the 3D. In the non-physical, they are fully ascended. Not everyone is, but twin flame parents are, and you obviously are too, because you are on a mission. You're ascended master. So parents are very, very important for twin flames. to help them, to pay back the favor of them giving you birth. I know some of you probably hate your parents, but it's a task that you must do. So let me read some from my notes. So when should you blast them and when should you stay in 0 point, which is when you don't react, okay? So you blast them when nothing can stop you when it comes from God. But when something stops you or something gets in the way or it's not the right time, better to stay in 0 point and just observe and be the divine mother. So you be the divine mother and the kind, loving soul. Come this way, come this way. I like that. We don't do it that way. With your divine masculine, with your father, with the masculines in the world, you do that most of the time. But there will be some times, probably like 10% of the time, where you have the light from God come through you and you say things without even knowing. You'll say it to your DM and you'll break his ego. You'll say it to your father, other men, whatever it is. And that's from God. That's God-given. And you cannot control that. So oftentimes, most of the time, you're going to be someone who is just staying in that 0 point, in that divine motherly energy, diffusing situations, diffusing bombs, and teaching the feminines how they can do it too against the patriarchy and all the issues. So you're teaching your mother as well. Because time is up now. As you've done your work, time is up for the family nonsense to be done as well. And as you will heal it, your DM will be healing it too. Within you have your inner mother, but you have your inner father too. You have your DM and your DF. And your DF is the loving, beautiful mother side, but then you also have your boundaries and protection, which needs to be there. The action, the going to the gym, the doing the yoga, the saying no, the turning your cheek, you're taking your energy away. For example, if your DM does something you don't like it, you just withdraw. Withdraw. You don't need to be nasty. You don't need to be toxic. You withdraw your energy. I'm busy. I gotta go. I gotta wash my hair. My sister's calling me. See you later. Bye. Blah blah blah. Gone. Then they'll realize, why did she leave? And they always want to serve. They want to be devoted. They want to get that energy from you. They like it. Like, you know, with a divine mother or a teacher saying praises, saying good things, they want that. So if you withdraw your energy, it makes them think. That's how you do it. You withdraw your energy so that they basically know that you are not putting focus on that. Don't get into fights with it. Unless it's coming from God, you withdraw. Okay. So your family will pay attention to what you say, what you don't say. What you put your energy behind, what you don't. What you approve, okay? Or don't give approval to, where you raise your eyebrows. Do be very careful. You're the leader now, leader of the family. Your non-reaction sometimes can have a bigger impact by taking your energy away, by withdrawing. And that's the same with the DM, but all masculines, all masculine energy, whether they're in the male body or the female body or whatever body they are, all masculine energies are like little children. You mother them to ascension, to their health. You become the queen bee, and the masculines are the worker bees, just buzzing around you, because they sense your high vibration. They sense that you love yourself, you're a child of God, full of dreams. You've done the work. Your third eye's open. You see the toxicity. And as you heal, the DM unconsciously heals as well. They do see the signs, synchronicities, dreams, but they don't put attention on it. They just download it and they change. Now to the body aches. It is ascension symptoms, okay? As you ascend, the toxicity and the density in different parts of your body is being released. Stretch. Do light exercise. Focus on your diet. Keep it light. Smoothies, warm water. It's the heavy pain in the joints, releasing trauma from memories, from past life, from this life, okay? You have to show people how to love themselves without judgment and get rid of any unworthiness or lack of belonging. Most of humanity is toxic. Your parents will have a lot of toxicity. Your role is to help them through it. Your role is not to help any karmics, any ex-husbands necessarily, or husbands that you're leaving, because it's not of your flesh, it's not of your bloodline. Anything of your bloodline that's ancestrally yours is your job. The only way you have to close the door on family or parents is if they refuse, if they do not change, if they do not look at your approval and disapproval, they stay in ego, they stay in toxicity, then you might have to close the door. But when you do ascend, you notice most of the time they're very proud of you and they'll be looking at you. You become a leader automatically, and they will be looking out to you, or where's the focus, because they feel it. The energy is next level. Okay, so a little bit about my story. So I'm a gay Indian. I could have been disowned. I could have been killed. I could have been married off to a woman, right? I chose to stay at home. I currently live at home. I have another home. I have people living there, and I spend a lot of time abroad anyway. But basically, I moved out at 18 because of all the issues. And I stayed in London for university for a couple of years, and then I came back. But then I went to Germany, I went to Israel, I went to India, and then I was traveling a lot, doing a lot of work, okay? But I'd always come back, and I always felt like I would face and work with everyone. Everyone in my family I've done therapy on, okay? Now, it could have been the case that I would have said, fuck you all, I'm going, you're toxic, or I could have been, disowned, or things could have gone really bad. However, as a divine feminine, we don't give up. We have the tools to be able to work. A lot of my relatives were gossiping all the time, saying he's run away from home. I have never run away from home. I've always gone away for either work, contracts, or studies. And my parents have always been in contact with me. So the fact that I can do it, you can do it, I'm sure you are doing it, but it's not about running away from where the trauma is, because that's where the healing is, where the pain is, that's where the ascension is, okay? Unless you're in danger, obviously, use your discernment. So yeah, when someone is acting or behaving in a certain way, as the leader now, you say, there's no need for that. And you divert the attention. And you bring them with positive affirmations, positive words, okay? I like that. I like that. Whenever they're doing good, reinforce it. Lead from the heart. Forgive. Walk the talk. Be the bigger person. Be noble. Be what's best for people and help others, because you are the leader of the line, of the bloodline. A lot of responsibility, but you're well equipped with it. The males, the masculines, will get on their knees for the divine feminine. They worship you as a goddess, queen bee. You are pure, ennobled, true, real, action-oriented, wise. You emanate from the core, goodness. But that can also challenge them. It definitely challenges the divine masculine, right? They become competitive, jealous, toxic, because they try to test you. Are you truly in your divinity, or are you going to revert back to toxicity? Are you going to take the high road and be the divine mother, or are you going to become a toxic person? Now, your father may be challenged as well at times, because there are those children, those little boys, and they feel insecure. The divine feminine, she's very loving and kind, but I'm not. It brings out their shadows. It brings out their insecurities, their unworthiness. So they may challenge you. Stay 0 point. Stay 0 point unless the blasts come from God. Stay in divine mother. Stay 0 point. And then keep forgiving, keep loving, keep showing the way. Divert attention, look the other way. Keep loving, being humble, being innocent, appreciative. They will succumb and they will follow suit, because you are the example. As a teacher, I used to be a teacher. Kids misbehave, but you don't want to become like the kids and misbehave too. No, you're far more ascended than that, aren't you? Okay. And the DM does it to test you, to see really, are you really in peace and bliss? So help your parents heal their toxicity in practical ways. They're the flesh of your flesh. It's safe for them to release all their garbage and their toxicity, and they will. So let me give you some examples, real life. So the last couple of weeks I've told about how I've been blasting my family, well, especially my dad, what's been going on. So we had a house, our family house, that we were selling or whatever, and the people who were living there weren't leaving. And my mom was very much in her toxicity, and she was saying things to my dad which would make him feel unworthy, and then he'll shout out and lash out and all that stuff. And I grew up in a lot of violence. And I was working with my mother quite a lot to help her understand that you don't need to go towards human beings, men, to get answers. You go to God, the main one, the main man, and you pray to God and things will work out. And she was resistant to it, and she was still being toxic at times. But when she finally clicked and got it in, because I had to at times blast my dad and intervene and all this and that and the other, it's been a lot. But basically, she prayed to God, she went to the temple, and the next day the tenants left. It was so practical and easy to understand. And then she also did a prayer that the house will sell, and it sold within the few days. And otherwise, it would have taken months and months and months, to remove these people. What she learned from that is what we say actually happens. We walk the talk. It's practical. You don't need to go to priests or human beings. She doesn't need to pester my father. She doesn't need to do any of that, because she can go to God and it all works out instantly. That's the power of the divine feminine. And that's what the divine masculine looks out for too, right? They try to see, why should we follow you? Why should we listen to you? So if you're toxic feminine, you're not doing any exercise, you're controlling, you're nasty, whatever it is, then no one's going to listen to you. But if you are in your power, if you are in your ascension, and you are showing, look, manifested, abundance, this is done, that's done, I'm badass, they look at you and they want to follow you. That's the divine feminine. Okay, so basically that happened, and she realized that it's all worked out. And then my father as well started to realize that there is more to this than meets the eye. And everything got better. Okay, this is all about God. We all have traumas. We all have monsters, skeletons in the closet. DM's often a nightmare. But we must forgive and love, because everyone has the opportunity to heal, okay? And as a divine feminine, you're the leader in consciousness. You awaken people to God and unveil the truth. The masculine, DF does not need anyone. You got God. You actually don't need anyone. It's the masculines that need you. And your divine masculine definitely needs you. Cannot operate without you. So the divine feminine is the kindergarten teacher, the kind mother, the nurturing, the way shower, and your light will reach everywhere. You will get to that place. Now, if this resonates, great. It means you're a twin flame. If it doesn't resonate, maybe you're still in your toxic template, or you're not a twin flame, because it's a big job. It's not just la la la, roses and chocolates, swinging on the chair, the what do you call them, swings in the playgrounds. None of that. It's badassery. It's healing everything and everyone and all that and more. It's amazing. Right, I'll take one or two questions and then I'm going to finish. But if you just joined, watch it from the beginning, because it's quite good. I thought it was quite good, but you might think it was not so good. I hope it was good. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'll take questions related to this topic. If it's related to, oh, why did my twin flames, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't care. Sorry. Because you don't focus on that. Two things you focus on: healing yourself and then your family. Forget about him. You change, he changes. Okay, so the body pain, we talked about that. If you've got knee pains, it's ego. Okay. I'm not going to talk about anything that's not to do with being a divine feminine. Feminine energy has a great ability to enter the frequency of emotions in the soul field and quickly remove them. Indeed, you work in the non-physical like a magician. Feminine energy does most of the work, even on his behalf. That is true too. So we all have masculine and feminine energies. The feminine energy is the more spiritual one. So the spiritual masters in the world, like Jesus and Buddha, had highly evolved spiritual inner divine feminine energy, okay? So we all have feminine and masculine. You mostly are in one polarity or the other, but those who are more spiritually inclined have more divine feminine energy. It's beautiful. You should be very grateful for it. True, I said, I'll choose you when the time comes, just after 3 days of meeting him. And now when I recall, I don't understand why I would say something like that. You choose yourself and then you choose them. Right. He don't fight with me. He simply apologizes if there's something I don't like. Not fun. Why do you want him to fight with you? You shouldn't want it. It's just drama. Addiction to drama. My twin flame doesn't fight with me either. I have fought with him in the past, said things. He just stays quiet. Which is good. Don't argue. So my parents changed their narcissistic behavior due to being completely divine now. Very good, Shambhavi. Very good. You feel they're highly ascended. They are. To give birth to an ascended master, don't you think they have to have some good karmas there? I will save the live. Okay, any other questions? if the karmics are still coming on our path, then how can we ignore them? I feel like whether it's a karmic or soulmate, then there's a lesson to complete. True, there is lessons. It's your choice whether you want to take that lesson. You get to a point though where you don't want it anymore, and your third eye's open, and you see the toxicity, and you see the lesson before it comes, and you say no, thank you. And you'll get to a point where the lessons are done, and you only want your divine masculine. All right. I'm being a bit quick because I have a interview at 7 that was supposed to be at 6, but they changed. It's a couple who are in divine union. Okay. You've been healing your mom. Well done. Wonderful. How to focus on yourself when you're used to being so selfless. So you're used to basically always giving, right? So imagine like being on an airplane and they always say to you, right, you have to put your own mask on first before you can help others. So if your cup's not full, you're nothing to no one. So realize if you want to be selfless, you've got to fill yourself first, and then you can do more, right? How can you heal being powerless? So you're powerless because you have lack of self-worth. You don't understand or believe in your divinity, so you don't love yourself fully. So keep loving yourself and having a good relationship with God, feeling that courage and that fire within you. It's your divine masculine side of you is very weak. Even your divine feminine, because your divine feminine is a warrior. So keep working on that. Maybe watch a lot of motivational stuff. I mean, if you watch a lot of my stuff, especially from before, a lot of my stuff is very powerful, focused energy that I put into my work. A lot of the videos I put on. Okay. Thank you for sharing your story about your mum as well. I've been healing my mum. Very good. It's very important to hear practical application and not just woo-woo clouds, because otherwise you're going to say, how do I do that? So it's really important to heal our relationship with our mother. Yes, it is. If you haven't spoken to her for 6 years, yes, work on it. Because everything is related, okay? And you came into your bloodline to heal it. Not only just for you, but for them too. Did you feel the shifts during the retrogrades? It's crazy. A lot of release. Yeah, normally I don't get affected by all this, but it was a lot. And my body completely feeling destroyed. My relationship with my mother has improved. Very good. My son is gay and I. Okay, wonderful. And you accept them and you accept yourself. I am coincidentally watching from Rome. I had crazy dreams last night. So many people from my past. Say hello to my divine masculine. He's in Rome. How long have you been on the journey? I've been on the journey 2 years and a few months. Not that long. Any advice for maybe meeting my DM after 2.5 years? While my family is visiting in the country. He's silent now though. Any advice for me meeting my DM after 2? Well, you're meeting a DM. Stay balanced. Stay in 0 point. Stay peaceful. Stay in your divine mother energy. Stay in your divine feminine energy. And with that, I'm going to end the live. There's one last question. I'm done. How can we continue the journey while we are married without creating more karma? Stay in 0 point. Stay in your divine energy so that any karma that's coming your way, you're not building upon it. You're releasing it. You're letting it go. And keep doing your inner work, and eventually God will show you a way to leave the karmic, and it will be instant and simple without thinking it. But stay in 0 point to avoid building karma. So no reactions, no giving back the toxicity, staying in your femininity, in your divine femininity. Even karmic situations, they can transform if they want to into more soul-led relationships. But just focus on God, focus on yourself. And with that, we're going to end the live. Take care. Next week's live will be from Miami because I'm going away. So hopefully you can get the times right. But take care and stay in the role of your feminine.